Welcome to Oldsmobile 455. We've got this truck that's got a dump box on it, which would work preferably on a farm for just throwing all the garbage in the back. Then you only got to dump it out the back, so it'll take half the work. But before we take it up there, we got access to tools here. We're going to end up replacing all this rust. And you got parts from Rock Auto. They're made in Taiwan. So you see where this is all rust. We got the cab corner, the rocker, it goes right up into the sill. Once you remove that, then you got to find out what we got to attach to. We're probably going to have to make our own patches.
I think I'll just get rid of this box here so we can get in there real easy to work on this. We're not going to haul any rigging on this truck anyway. You can see that was just holding moisture. Get that wood out of there. Knock them bolts out of there.
Man, there ain't much left. That's right in the middle of the chest.
We'll run her until she breaks.
Jeez.
I mean, it's not like it's through. I mean, you think there was another piece of metal added on there, or was that just...
Well, it's still got a 3/16.
So, if anyone else has these pieces of crap, when you take the hinge off, she fell right on our solenoid, causing a short. So we got the battery out now.
8 o'clock, we're already getting dark. We're using those new lights that we just bought, and we had to expose this area so that we can get at that. Probably have to take the door off to even work on this. You just got to go 3 steps backward before you go 1 step forward. We're going to have to get all these rubber moldings off, and this plastic kick panel, and the sill plate, and the carpet, and the seats out. A penny.
What's in this little box here? Raisins?
Check out the foam job.
Is anybody hungry?
So this is more rusty than what he thought, and he didn't get a pan for this side. And we should do the pan first, so that when we put this thing on, it would be fused together at that seam. So we're going to show you what happens as your body starts getting rusted away and it loses its integrity and the whole thing's flexing. This cab is separated from this. This is the strong structure right here. The cab is separated, so we're going to put angle iron across there and weld to here, weld to there, patch some holes. It'll be stronger and nobody's going to see it. We just want it to be strong, not get an accident, have the cab fly off.
We're gonna have to put this or something in that new rocker panel. And that new rocker doesn't have an inner lip, I don't believe.
This is what happens on the farm. These little bastards make everything rust. Once they start pissing on your metal, basically all we have as a reference is this angle right here. Because I mean the rocker's gone, everything's gone. So I'm going to be holding this piece flush to here. Coming even with that.
It seems like these pieces are going to fit okay, at least, once we get the rest of the metal cut out. Now that we got this hoopty all ripped apart, I think I'll start working on the carburetor. This fuel filter is just completely filled up with sediment. I think it's from the filler neck on the gas tank. Sat for so long, and we're dumping gas down it and just rinsed all this stuff into here. But it possibly saved that fuel filter. Looks like there's some sort of EGR plate on here. We're not going to worry about emissions with this truck. Amazing it ran like that. But part of the reason we're working on this is it doesn't have a provision for the PCV. This was actually recently put on the truck. This was the carb that was on the truck. It sat in the pasture for maybe like 6 or 7 years. Well, this one does have a provision for the PCV, and I do want to run the PCV. One of the boosters, I don't know if it broke out or what out of this carb. I'm tempted to see if I can just drill that and tap this fitting in there. These carbs are like 2-piece carbs. They got the top piece and then the bottom piece is all one. So no changing base plates on these. You can see there's some crud in there. Just took the fuel filter out the front of this one. Check this out. That baby was clogged. These carbs do have a power valve in them. The shaft on that thing isn't fully threaded, so it unfortunately does not fit in my Holley power valve checking tool. The jets are also different than Holley jets. One thing I do like about these carbs is you can take the air horn off very easily and change the jets or make float adjustments without having to drain the carb or even take the carb off the vehicle. This is all the more I'm going to take it down. Really not a whole lot to it.
PCV was in this base, and the other one has the nub in there, but it doesn't have it. And all that does is just make a vacuum line to where the Venturi action is going on. So we're gonna drill that out. We just mic this up. Got a drill that's slightly smaller, so it's gonna be interference fit. We'll knock it in. To get it out, we had to put a wrench on here, set the carburetor on here, and then tap it down, and it pulled it out.
True? No.
I'm gonna start just tapping it in like this, and then we'll put the wrench on it.
Perfect. This EGR is so plugged up, it was ridiculous. We got our intake all cleaned up, did a vacuum job to it. There are a bunch of emissions vacuum lines on it. I just took them all off. We're just gonna have one going to the distributor vacuum advance. I think that's gonna be it. We're gonna get rid of this EGR and make a block off plate.
I'm making an ugly block off plate, but now I gotta make it look pretty.
There's that. So I had an extra one of these. We're just going to run these two in series to the stock filter. And after a couple tanks full of gas, maybe I'll take them out. Paul's laughing at my fuel filter setup here, but this is just temporary. Just so we run some gas through her. Well, there is like a foam in there.
We clogged with shit.
We probably should clean this out because now we're going to have a PCV run into it.
So now we're gonna be trying to reroute this stuff so the engine can breathe properly. Somebody just stuck some chore boy or foam. I think it's steel wool. Yeah, it's steel wool. That's really great to run through your motor. So this will have a tube going up underneath the air cleaner, so it's sucking filtered air. The PCV will draw you know, when there's pulling a vacuum, it'll pull air through a filtered air through the motor. Then it'll go to the other side and out of the valve cover in through the carburetor and reburn, you know, pull by.
I believe it's supposed to go right to here. Maybe we can make a tube fit that, I don't know. Someone really hacked up this air cleaner.
Well, this thing definitely has to come apart because there's just all kinds of corrosion on the rocker arms and the hole underneath there. You'd want the oil going down the drain holes cleaned out. And there's been a lot of guys that had a crusty engine like this, and then they have their engine flushed and stuff, and then they really blow oil. Or they leak out of the gaskets because a lot of times dirt accumulates at the parting lines and stuff, and all of a sudden you flush that oil clean, and then she starts leaking everywhere. But this has got crud. You wouldn't want the oil taking the crud away, and now it's going to be going between the bearings and stuff. This isn't a good scene.
Just show them that once.
I mean, there's crud in here. It's gross. Look at that. So even if you put fresh oil in there and try to clean it, that's going through, hopefully it would get caught by the filter before it goes through the bearings.
We're gonna try this with no vacuum line on the Vacuum Advance. We got intake vacuum there, and
You got the,
I think in the back of the car was some ported vacuum.
I don't hear anything. Needs a little more. So basically what this whole project is all about is having the dump box on the farm. This is what it's like when you have to polish a turd. This thing's going to be a lot of work and won't be worth anything to anybody else, but for us it'll alleviate a lot of work. Hopefully it turns out halfway decent.